I want to start where Councilmember Jawando started, which is talking about the fact that we just enacted and confirmed that racism is a public health issue. Stress is real. We all feel it in our everyday lives. We feel it personally, we feel it professionally. More often than not, we can deal with it and we move on. But there's an inherent stress that people of color, and in particular our African American brothers and sisters, feel when it comes to interactions with law enforcement. And that is not the fault of our police officers who have sworn into duty. It is the realistic and very real byproduct of generations and centuries of institutional racism. And the conversations we are having now and the manner in which we are having them have been had before, but this does feel different. This feels different because many people have awakened, finally, to the injustices that they have not personally felt, but are now seeing so acutely and so shockingly in videos. And these injustices have been going on for decades. But by virtue in the last 8 years of us having cameras in our phones, and by us instituting policies in which law enforcement correctly must have cameras on to document each one of these interactions, we're all seeing what people have been seeing their entire lives and have been experiencing for generations. And so this bill is critically important because that trust that is so critical to ensuring public safety for all has been challenged for generations, but has not been challenged like we are seeing now in my lifetime. And so it's critically important for us to stay ahead of that, to provide our community with the understanding that they can have faith in our law enforcement officials. And that's why earlier today, the county executive actually held a press conference with the chief of police and the fraternal order of police leadership that moves forward policies that are somewhat consistent with what we are discussing right now. The difference is that this takes it a step further. It puts it into law. It ensures that future police chiefs, future county executives will be held to the same standard. And that is critically important. And as has been said before, this is one very important and substantive and substantial piece of legislation, but it is only one piece, because there does need to be a paradigm shift in the way that we think about policing so that we support our first responders by providing them with the mental health support and professionals that they need to be able to do their jobs effectively, to be able to assess situations. And there needs to be a merger and thinking in how we think about law enforcement. And it does need to go hand in hand much more intentionally than it does now with our health and human services, because all of these issues, as we know, are connected. And so I, like many of you, have spent my whole life in this county. And for the last 12 years in particular, have worked quite closely with many police officers working on positive youth development in our community. And as Councilmember Navarro said, I have seen firsthand law enforcement officials that have gone way above and beyond and way not as part of their job description, but spending personal time in investing in mentoring and guiding our youth, not as police officers, but as residents, as citizens, as neighbors. And so I think this is such a critically important moment in time. I know that we are going to step up and meet this challenge. And I know that we are going to come out so much stronger as a community on the other side. We have to go through this pain. It's awful, it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, it's tragic. But I'm confident that it's bringing to bear and bringing to light in a very meaningful way conversations that are long overdue. And we're having them right now. And we're having them in real time. And so I look forward to discussing this particular piece of legislation. But just as importantly, I'm looking forward to the other policy measures that we enact to support our entire community. And it really is an honor to serve with all of you. But I really do want to thank Will and Craig and Nancy for our discussions, for our collaboration and work on this and many issues. And I do also want to just thank so much Hans and Andrew and Evan and Tom and Sydney, because this body's going to stay together, and we are going to answer the thousands of questions and comments that we are receiving from our public right now. And we are not going to let this momentum pass us by. We're going to continue moving forward. So thank you very much, Mr. Council President, and I look forward to the deliberation and discussion of this bill later. Thanks.